Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Sunday services at Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. We are a loving and prospering community in the heart of Denver and online. We now conduct hybrid services at the historic Grant Avenue Community Center and Sacred Place, located at 216 South Grant Street, Denver, Colorado. All are welcomed here. A place, space, and face of love. We are a spiritual community practicing universal principles that enrich our lives. We are grateful that you have blessed us with your presence. While online, we'd love to know you're watching with us. Feel free to leave a comment and let everyone appreciate you. With everything going on, life can feel overwhelming. CSL Denver wants you to know we are here for you. Please know that our practitioners are available for personal prayer work. Our licensed spiritual practitioners' names and phone numbers are available on our website at csldenver.org. Or if you have a prayer request, feel free to email it to info@csldenver.org. For your convenience, you'll find clickable links in the description of this broadcast. Rev. Elzia, along with all our guest speakers, practitioners, service coordinators, and musical inspirations, want you to know how truly grateful we are that you are with us today. Thank you for your continued support and participation in our services, workshops, and events, as well as providing financial contributions to our center. If you're interested in upcoming events and information, we send out weekly newsletters. Sign up by visiting www.csldenver.org. We deliver services in a hybrid format where we meet in person at 216 South Grant Street. We will also continue to live stream all services on Facebook and YouTube every Sunday. Find us on our respective channels as well as on New Thought Media Network. Again, thank you for your precious attention. Now prepare for engaging enlightenment.
There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows, a beautiful garden where love is sown. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. place of light and love. You can't have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden. That garden is you. Such a beautiful garden. That garden is you.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. It's nice to see a lot of familiar faces here, as well as some new faces, so welcome, everybody. And I invite you to get comfortable in your chair and close your eyes and just bring in the presence of the divine. The divine that is in, through, and around each and every one of us. That divine universe that guides us, that loves us, that brings us abundance, peace, and joy. And let's just know in this moment that this service is blessed, that the words of Reverend Elzia, the music of Susan Clark, my reading, and especially the divine circulation of love that is in this room. And as we move through this service and out into the rest of the week, we bring that love out to expand further and further into our community, throughout our state, throughout our country, throughout the world. And it is only through us that we allow the love to flow. And so I release these words, knowing as they go into the law of circulation, that they come back to everyone tenfold. And so it is. So it is. And our topic, of course, is the law of circulation. So this, our reading, the law of circulation, central to science of mind, teaches that giving and receiving are inseparable aspects of spiritual living. This universal principle is not merely a suggestion, but the very way through which we express and experience the fullness of life. According to Ernest Holmes, we exist within a perfect life, one that is inherently whole, harmonious, peaceful, and abundant. Yet this perfection becomes real to us only to the extent that we embody and express it. The divine, in its boundless generosity, offers us all good, but it can only bestow as much as we are able and willing to receive. Our openness, gratitude, and willingness to give freely are essential to that unimpeded flow of good. When we give, whether it be love, kindness, resources, or time, we activate the law of circulation, allowing the divine current to move through us and extend outward into the world. This act of giving naturally opens us to receive blessings in return, often in ways that we don't anticipate. Conversely, when we withhold or resist, we disrupt this vital flow, thereby limiting our own experience of abundance and good. By consciously engaging in this sacred exchange, we attune ourselves to the natural rhythm of the universe, deepening our sense of fulfillment, peace, and joy. Ultimately, the law of circulation reveals that life's richest gifts are those we both give and receive with open and grateful hearts, affirming our connection to the divine and one another. And from Ernest Holmes, Does this thing I wish to do express more life, more happiness, more peace to myself, and at the same time harm no one? If it does, it is right. It is not selfish. And now to music of Susan Clark.
Hello, CSL Denver. Susan Clark with you to provide some music for your service. You know, I got to thinking, now that I'm older, I'm hardly ever silly anymore. I'm very pragmatic, I'm very busy, I'm very goal-oriented, I'm a hard worker. So I thought I'd change that up a little bit and do something that's totally goofy. You remember the old song, Do the Locomotion? My friend Vince Gonzalez and I took it upon ourselves to rewrite it, make it a little more new thought-ish. So this is called Do the Circulation. Why not? There's a great new craze now that's sweeping the nation. Come on, do the circulation. It starts with your heart, what a great sensation. Come on, do the circulation. Learn to relax and let it flow. No more holding back, just go, go, go. Come on, do the circulation with me. If you're feeling stuck and you cannot move, come on, do the circulation. Give it up to God and watch your life improve. Come on, do the circulation. Do it nice and easy, now don't lose control. A little bit of faith and a lot of soul. So come on, do the circulation with me. You got to share your gifts now. Come on, people, give more, take less. Well, now I think you pass the test. There's a great new craze now that's sweeping the nation. Come on, do the circulation. It starts with your heart, what a great sensation. Come on, do the circulation. Learn to relax and let it flow. No more holding back, just go, go, go. So come on, do the circulation with me. You got to share your gifts now. Come on, people, give more, take less. Well, now I think you pass the test. So if you're feeling stuck and you can't move, come on, do the circulation. Give it up to God and watch your life improve. Come on, do the circulation. Do it nice and easy, now don't lose control. A little bit of faith and a lot of soul. So come on, do the circulation. Come on, do the circulation. Come on, do the circulation with me. Well, I hope that put a smile on your face. Thank you.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. Are y'all doing the circulation? I never would have thought about recreating that song into that, but I'm glad somebody did. Good morning and welcome to CSL Denver, a place, a space, and a face of love, a spiritual community teaching ancient wisdom and utilizing principles that are universal to empower our lives and the lives of others. Before we get started, if it feels comfortable, I want to make sure that we create this container that's filled with love and filled with spirit. So if it's comfortable for you to close your eyes or lower your gaze and take a deep breath. Infinite Spirit, divine intelligence, the force that flows through all there is. we pause in reverence of this flow, of this rhythm. We recognize that we are not separate from this flow, but vessels through which it moves. We affirm that each soul gathered here today is an open channel to the divine flow. We send forth blessings to everyone that hears this message, knowing that this moment is holy, this time is sacred, and that these words are the conduit for the everlasting flow of life. And so it is. Amen. And so it is just joyous to be here today. I tell you about the circulation. This was just off the cuff. I came here, I was watching the football game last night. Somebody, see, I got somebody in the audience already making a face at me because they know what I'm going to say. I was watching the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers last night. And my son is now living in Chicago, so I was rooting for Chicago. But I knew I had to get here early, so they were down. It was like less than a minute left in the game. And I said, I'm going to sleep because first of all, I need to go to sleep. But if I sit here and watch them lose, I'm going to be heartbroken. And so I just assumed that they had lost. And so I came here this morning proclaiming the loss of the Chicago Bears to the Green Bay Packers. And my dear friend looked at me and said, are you sure? There was a circulation going that you missed when you went to sleep. You cut the circulation off and Chicago Bears won. I'm like, what? And of course, I go and check and the Chicago Bears did win. So that just reinforced this whole idea that we're working with today on the law of circulation. Now, if you remember from last week, our theme for the month is ancestral wisdom and new thought. How do we take that old knowing and bring it into a new time, into a new place, into a new understanding that allows us to move and do the circulation, as the song said, with everything, with everybody. And so this idea of the ancient wisdom is pivotal, I think, because what it shows us is that when you think about all of the science and the knowledge and the wisdom we have that has percolated from a time when, there was no pilot light on your stove to cook the food. There was no switch in your house to cut on the light. There was a period of time where the main thing going on was an observation and an awareness so that we could learn the cycle of life, so that we could learn what is going on, not only around us, but in us and through us. And so when we look at life in this divine way, we learn and we watch the patterns and we proclaim, once we figure it out, that the only thing going on in the entire universe is circulation. It shows up in different patterns, in different ways, in different motifs, if you will. If we look at the galaxies, they spiral. There's a circulation going on. If we look at our breath in and out, there's a circulation going on. If we look at the very essence of who we are, our heart, that pumps life-giving source everywhere on this planet, it is an inflow and an outflow, a circulation that allows us to proclaim there is a pattern of life, and if I can put myself in right alignment with that pattern, things will flow. Not because I want them to, not because somebody said that, not because it was written, but because it is so. Because it is so. And so when we look at this law of circulation, it looks at this idea of how do we give in, dare I say, surrender to this thing called life. To this thing called life. You know, we call this teaching religious science, which means we look at the idea of how science, the stuff that the ancient ones called something else, but it was really science. How does that thing and spirituality, awareness of all there is, work together? And so we have this agency, some of you might be familiar with it, called NASA. And, you know, we got space stations and space shuttles and all of that, right? And I think I've mentioned this before, and I'm going to recommend it again because I think it's appropriate. There's a program called One Strange Rock with Will Smith as the narrator. And that show has, I think it's like 10 astronauts who've spent over, I don't know, some inordinate amount of time in space looking back down on Earth. And the one thing that comes out in the very first episode, and there's about 6 to 8 episodes, is they look down and they see this continual flow of the water on the planet, whether that's in the form of actual rivers or whether it's in the form of the atmospheric river of the clouds, which is another form of water, that moves in a cyclical motion around the globe. That same thing is taught when we look at the idea of energy, which we proclaim, I at least do, proclaim proudly that that's all there is here, energy. And when we look at the law of thermodynamics says energy just changes forms. It never goes away. So there's this cyclical motion, this cyclical nature that is inherent in the universe. Inherent in the universe. And so with that being said, I would proclaim that life is really a continuous flow of current, or a continual current of energy. Continual. And that anything and everything, including us, can only be channels for that energy to flow. Only channels. And the only way it can flow, if you know anything about channels, rivers, water hoses, if there is no blockage, if there is no thing to impede that flow, there's abundance. There's abundance. And so our job is to figure out, how do we tap into not necessarily the flow, because the flow is always there. How do we begin to not be a hindrance to the flow, to the law of circulation, to allow ourselves, as they say in spiritual circles, just to be? Because that's what the water is. That's what the energy flow is. That's what the wind blow is. It is just flowing. And if it hits a blockage, it makes a left turn or a right turn, or it goes under, or it goes over. But the flow itself understands what we're dealing with here. It understands. And when that stops, and when that circulation stops, we have many names for it. But the biggest one, I think, that captures all of it is crisis. If the flow stops, we are in crisis. Whether that crisis shows up as loneliness, or despair, or depression, or reclusiveness, or resistance, all of those and many, many more are the results of not allowing the circulation, the flow, the cycle of life to move easily. You know, we say, you know, life is happening easily and effortlessly. Well, yeah, it is, until we block it. until we block it. And so to utilize this law, Irma Curtis Hopkins said this: you do not demonstrate what you want. You demonstrate what you are open to receive. You don't demonstrate what you want. You are open or demonstrate what you receive. Now, that's a kind of a strange concept in today's world, because we want to, the motif is we want to receive, and the way we do that is we make ourselves an individual, dare I say, content creator, right? We promote ourselves out there, but we're only trying to get monetary, and life and circulation is more than just monetary. It's the breath that we breathe. It's the blood that runs through our veins. It's the wind that blows to clear away the smoke. And so when we can tap into that, we really begin to, I dare say, we really begin to let go and let God when we can tap into it. We don't have the confusion. We don't have the judgment as much. Now we're going to have it. I'm not going to be presumptuous as if life ain't real, because it's really real. And if you've been looking around lately, you know it might be getting a little realer, if that's a word. I'm going to make it up. Realer. But we have to begin to be open to the flow of life. Remove whatever blocks, remove whatever, and that alone isn't enough. It's just, it takes a little bit more than just to be open, to acknowledge the ebb and flow of life. In Luke 6:38, in Luke 6:38, we have this statement: give and it will be given to you. For the measure you give will be the measure you get back. There's that law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. Right? There's this whole microcosmic and macrocosmic world that elevates and accentuates this idea of circulation. There's the scientific notion that if you could examine, or if you examine an atom and all of the things going around the nucleus, that's the same thing that's happening in the galaxy. Everything is in motion, everything. And so in all aspects, it's the same. The giving and receiving. It completes the cycle. It completes the circuit. If I have a light switch and the wires aren't connected, the circuit is not complete. So I can flip the switch all day. There will be no light. But as soon as I put the pieces back together in this circulation of energy, this circulation of abundance, it's almost like magic. You just flip a switch. I can't, boom, light comes on. It's the same in our life. It's the same in our life. And so when we're able to clear out all of the confusion and know that the circulation and the switches and everything has to be in place, now we can put this law to work for us, right? So today's topic is the law of circulation at work. We need to do more than know about it. We need to engage it so that we put it to work. Now, just one thing before we go in, oftentimes when we think about releasing or removing something, we look at it as a loss. Not all the time, but there's times when you think about, if I need to give up my old car to get a new car, even though you're looking at getting a new car, there's some sense of loss from, I don't know, emotional attachment. You know, I remember when I went with my girlfriend to the drive-in. I don't know what it is, But whatever it is, there's an attachment and there's a sense of loss. But when we look at it in the pattern of life, it's just a releasing of one thing for the replacement of another. It's given back to us, as it says in Luke, in the same measure that we release it. The exact same measure that we release it. There is a and I skipped this, and I want to make sure I bring it forth. The very first slide that we have, and I missed it, and if you could bring that up, I would appreciate it. This is from Gabrielle Roth. She has a book, teaching the maps to ecstasy, teaching of an urban shaman that says energy moves in waves. Waves move in patterns. Patterns move in rhythm. A human being is just that. Energy, wave, pattern, rhythms. Nothing more, nothing less. A dance. A dance. And so that's what we are trying to immerse ourselves in. Is immerse ourselves into this dance that we begin to really embody the patterns and the flow and the cycles and all those things that when we understand, we can release not from a sense of loss, but release from a moment of understanding the dance. From understanding that circulation becomes effortlessly when we dance. You ever been to a dance? Yeah. And they got that really, really, really good music playing, whatever that is to you. And even if you were what they used to call wallflowers, I don't even know if kids dance anymore when they go to parties, but when we went, everybody danced, and we had those who were standing on the wall, we called them wallflowers. And the DJ's job was to get everybody on the floor. And once that happened, all the wallflowerers, once they got into the flow, once they got into the dance, they may not ever tell us, but in their mind they were saying, what took me so long? Why did I wait so long to jump into the dance and be free and not, all right, I may not be the most rhythmic, I may be a little awkward and linky, but once I get into that flow, all things start just being released and free and moving, and inevitably a smile comes on your face. And I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts right now that each and every one of us can close our eyes and remember a moment when we were somewhere and the music was playing. Even if we didn't get up and dance, we were dancing in our seat. That's what we're looking for. That's what we want to understand as we look at this circulation, in work. It moves us. It causes us to get in line with the dance. And when it becomes effortless, then it overflows. Because I don't need to pay attention to it. I'm not resistant to it. It just flows, and then it overflows. There's a story to I think kind of hone in on this, called the story of the singing well. The story of the singing well. There was this community, this village in of our ancestors who had this old well, a sweet, clear, pure water. And for some reason, something in the atmosphere, maybe something in the environment, they saw somebody doing something or whatever that made them fearful. You understand what I'm saying? They saw something, may not have understood it, and they became fearful. And they said, ooh, we need to protect and slow down this water because it might go away. And so the elders blocked up the well and left just a trickle to come through. Now, in the beginning, there was no problem. Water, everybody came with their little cup and got their water or their little bucket. But eventually, that well stopped producing water. And now everyone was in panic. So they began to do all manner of things. And one astute, attuned member of the community said, we should go down there and call Sister Mary. She understands these things. She's a wise one. So they went and got Sister Mary, and she came and she looked at the well, and she walked around the well for a little bit and listened. And she could hear the singing of the well. And she said, oh, well, I know what the problem is. You need to remove all these rocks, all these blockages you thought were saving the water to keep it for some rainy day or something, and it will flow. And of course, they removed the rocks, the water flew, and the song returned of the water running through the rocks and trickling over the hillside. And that's what we are asked to do. Remove the blocks. The water of life is still available. It's still circulating. But we have to ask the question, are we removing the blocks? Or are we just panicking, thinking, oh my God, there is no more water, there is no more song, and now we go frantically hither and thon, trying to figure out how to tap into the cycle of life. How do we tap in? Charles Fillmore from Unity said this: the law of giving and receiving is a universal law. Not that one. Is a universal law. It is the action of substance and it is increase. So the question becomes, how do we participate in this law? How do we participate in the law of circulation? So I'm going to give you 3 things that allows us to participate. Now, the first thing is the circulation of substance. And now if I can get that slide from Charles Fillmore. Charles Fillmore said this about the circulation of substance. If man hoards the thing that he seems to possess, he clogs the spiritual channel from which the original flowed, and so receives sparsely from the source. If you begin to hoard, i.e., you start blocking up the channel, this law of circulation for substance is going to be a problem. They used to have a program on TV called Hoarders. And somebody said, oh, you should look at that. And I'm like, man, I don't want to see no show like that. But one day, you know, the remote control got the best of me, and I just started pushing, and show was on. And this particular person had stacks and stacks and stacks of paper towels. I mean, they could have opened up a store to sell paper towels. The house, and that was just one of the things that they were hoarding. They had all kind of other things all over the house. And to get through the house, there was like little tunnels to get through the house. Hoarding substance. For what reason? There are many. But inevitably, obviously, she never used any of them because they were still stacked there. Where in our lives do we crave for some new substance, but we're hoarding the old? We're holding on to it. We're not letting it go. You know, this is not like a vending machine. You know, you know, we have to be active in this thing. I gotta let some of it go. You know, you go to the vending machine, it'll release all the cookies and chips, but eventually you go to the vending machine, it's gonna be empty. And that means somebody, whoever the source of the items in the vending machine, has to come back and refill it. And that's how we have to look at substance in our life. There is a source called the divine intelligence of the universe that is the ever-giving substance of life. So we shouldn't have to worry about holding on to that shirt that I wore to the dance back whenever I went to that dance thinking, I need this shirt. It has sentimental value. Yeah, but you can't wear it. It don't fit no more. The song don't even go with that type of outfit anymore. We have to let go. We have to let go. And this actually, as we know, especially if you're from the farm, if you have a well and that well, you know water's there and you pumping and nothing comes out, you have to take a bucket of water and prime the pump. You pour it in and ooh, now water flows. That's what this is. We have to get in this priming the pump by releasing or adding something to it to allow it to flow free. The second thing that we have to step into is the circulation of service. The circulation of service. Winston Churchill said this. Winston Churchill said, we make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. By what we give. The circulation of service. How many of us wake up every day with a thought in the back of our mind that says, I am an open channel and a servant of the divine. I am a servant of the Most High. Now, that servant can come in many different ways. If I come home and the plumbing does not work, I need the service of a plumber. If the electricity is not working, I need the servant of an electrician. So saying that sets the stage to say there is no one way of giving service. It could be a smile. It could be a faint wave to someone across the street. We never know what someone needs in terms of receiving a service. That's why we give freely, and it is given back to us in the same manner that we give. Service is the creative circulation that shapes a meaningful life. That shapes a meaningful life. Just service. Not something extraordinary, just service. Shapes a life. And it shows up, as we're saying, you know, if we put it in our personal lives, it could show up as creativity. It could show up as a smile. It could show up as a skill that we have. It shows up in many ways. So you telling me I can just do what I do because that's what I do and it's service? Yes. If you do that thing that you do, whatever that thing is, whether it's sing or fix cars or understand accounting, that is an act of service. We don't need to make this some big, spooky, grand thing. It's real living, real circulation, real life. Shirley Chisholm said this. She was the first Black woman congressperson. She said, service is the continual and ongoing cycle of contribution, encouragement, or attention, or it could be just simply presence. That ongoing piece. And now once we get the substance, the stuff figured out in circulation, and we get this service piece out in circulation, then the last thing that kind of anchors it is the circulation of spirit. The circulation of spirit. Maya Angelou said this. Maya Angelou said, spirit is an invisible force made visible in all life. Think about that. Spirit is an invisible force that is made present through life itself. It's like the wind. No one has ever seen the wind. You've only seen the results of wind. Think about it. You've never seen wind itself. You see the dust storm and you say, oh, that's wind. No, that's a dust thing right there. That ain't wind. Wind is that invisible force behind the dust bowl. And that's how we really begin to anchor that there's an invisible force. There's a power, a presence that is God, life, spirit, source, whatever song name that resonates with you. It is an invisible substance that we know through its movement and making things present. Spirit is something that moves, it's invisible, and it shows up as forgiveness or gratitude or creativity or love. Those are things you can't see. You can only see the results of them. Nobody's ever seen creativity. If you have, please come show me where I can find it, because I am not that creative, and I want to be. But if something has been produced, I can say, now that was creative. That was creative. This is the understanding of the ancient ones. They understood this law. They understood this way of life. That's why they were able, even today, if we look around carefully and closely, they have created some monuments and some buildings and some artifacts that we look at today with all of our technology, and we sit and we scratch our head. How did they do it? And what in the heck did they do it for? They understood this flow of life. And they understood that there was this correspondence that goes hand in hand with the law of circulation. So when we begin to do that, we can move with clarity. We can move with humility, and we can get rid of discord and all those things that block the flow of life. And so as we close, remember that the law of circulation is just that. It is movement. It is alignment. And alignment means if I find myself blocked, I will align myself in a different way so that I flow. Because that is the only thing, the only dance that's going on. And so as we remember that in our hearts, in our very minds and our very souls, we become free. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Mother, Father God, that ebb and flow, that as above, as below, cycle of life, the thing that keeps this whole universe alive and moving and creating and producing and figuring out how to stay in a state of grace. We know that right here, right now, that each and every one of us here, whether they're online or anywhere that hears this message, we are beginning to awaken to a song, to a dance that is ancient as time itself. And as we learn to release and to be in service and to allow the forces of the universe to move through us as an open channel, we begin to feel the essence of life. We become the literal essence of life itself. And so I know right here, right now, that this is true for all of us. Not tomorrow, not sometime in the future, but right here, right now. And our job, and I know it is happening as we speak, is the releasing of any blockages that allow this flow not to be. And so it is in that understanding and in that knowing, in that releasing, that I release this prayer into a law, giving thanks, knowing that it is already present and we are tapped in, tuned in, and turned on to the flow of life. And so it is. Amen. And so, as always, just to anchor this, we have some call to actions because we have to make it move. We have to make it work. And so the call to actions, 3 of them. Pick one or 3. Pick one thing to release this week to remove a stone that is blocking your flow. Just one thing. Then, and offer one act of service with no attachment or expectation. Number 3, choose one spiritual practice, forgiveness, prayer, meditation, create something to prime the pump of your circulation. You can pick 1, 2, 3, all of them, but we have to practice this law of circulation, like all these laws. And so when we do that, we move forward. And the affirmation to anchor that this week is this. Sorry for that. I am a clear channel for the circulation of divine good. I give freely, I receive joyously, and I release gratefully, and so it is. And so it is. And so thank you for being here. It is now that sacred circulation of law to support CSL Denver. And we want to let you know that we appreciate all that you give to this center, whether it's in time, treasure, or talents. We appreciate it and we put it to good use. We try to be good stewards of that circulation. And so you can give in many different ways. If you look across the bottom of the screen, you can go to the website and hit the donate button. There's a text to give. You can use the old-fashioned P.O. box, or you can give right here in the center. But however you give, please give. And to anchor that idea into our lives, we do a ritual where we place our hand over our hearts and we repeat these phrases. This perfect gift is spirit-informed, circulating and blessing all that it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive, and so it is, amen. And so it is, amen. And so now Tim is going to come up and give us some announcements, and then we'll close out. Tim?
Thank you, Reverend Elzia. Okay, we have the new January, February Science of Mind magazines over here for sale. They're the ones standing up in the little display case. They're $10 a piece, and you can just drop the money in the gifts jar. We also have older Science of Mind magazines laying on the table in front of it, and you're welcome to take 1 or 2 and go ahead and read it. The information is always current and always applicable, so please go ahead and do that. Our community cafe is every Sunday, and instead of the standard celebration service, we get together for a tasty potluck and explore topics of interest to our CSL Denver family. Community cafe is a monthly happening. Everyone's invited, so please come in person because we don't stream this. And I mean, you can't potluck on the screens. So anyway, bring a friend and a dish to share. We'll be here at 10 o'clock and it goes until 11. And the cafe is free with the love offering as usual. At our community cafe in August of 2025, Alice Nutter, a practitioner emeritus, shared information on the empowerment dynamic, or TED. TED. We reviewed places and/or events in our life where we have operated as a victim or persecutor or rescuer, and how we could change the dynamics to be a creator, challenger, or coach. We learned how to apply the principles, mindsets, and practices of TED to feel elevated and empowered. So for our January 26 Community Cafe, We're going to share some of our experiences, how we applied TED in our lives. And if you weren't at that presentation, go ahead and join us anyway and just think about how you are applying some of these dynamics in your lives and how we can continue to create more opportunities and awarenesses in using these skills in our lives. Our Curiosity Corner is back on the back wall there. You see numerous books. There's one table where everything is $1. That's our bargain basement. And on the table to the left of that, everything is priced with the price tag up above it. Please go ahead and look and see if there's anything of interest there. There's always something of interest there. And the law of circulation is bring your old stuff in and buy new stuff. And there's books, tarot cards, CDs, DVDs, whatever is there. And we are blessed to have New Thought Media Network and Diego as our Sunday service producer. We invite you to go to www.ntmedia.org and check out what they have. They have over 40 hours of weekly broadcast programs. And we do have printed schedules over on the table to show you the variety of programs that they have and when they're on. And as usual, we are truly blessed by everyone who has chosen to support Center for Spiritual Living Denver by showing up here on Sunday or watching us online. We know that as we move through the rest of 2026, that the divine beloved is guiding and loving each and every one of us. So thank you very much for joining us. And now let's close out with Karen Drucker singing, I Am So Grateful. And then remember, please join us for fellowship and conversation after the service. Thank you.
Hey, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Hey! Oh yeah. Grateful. I just say I am so grateful every day for all I have. Every day. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all I have. Every day I say it. Grateful. How I'm grateful. Every day. Oh yeah. I am so grateful. Oh yeah. So grateful. 'Cause I accept and I receive. I am so grateful. Oh yes, I am. I am so grateful. Hey, grateful. I just